Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and this is
Logan Garibay.
And today we're going to talk about our president, Barack Obama, and his booster speech for Joe Biden and what he said in that speech, because we think it was one of the best speeches of the entire DNC. We're fascinated. We watched all 20 minutes together. We took lots of notes. We want to share our thoughts with you. Hit me with some of them thoughts.
So, these are some of the topics we had. The first one was the BLM reference. So, Obama said this has to do with Trump. He was talking about the whole clash of power or whatever, and he was saying that he referenced the Lafayette Square incident, where basically Trump ordered military/police officers. They're kind of in the middle. It was very weird. It wasn't directly military, but it wasn't directly police. I think it was like federal officers or something. I forget. But it basically was a militarized force, and he was saying that he used militarized force to get a photo op while tear gassing peaceful protesters.
Yeah.
And he's saying that was not okay, which it wasn't in my opinion. But yeah, so if you guys didn't know about the Lafayette Square incident, I think he went to the Rose Garden or something. I think he was in the Rose Garden. He was trying to get a photo op.
And he went to his church.
Near a church, holding a Bible and for a photo op or whatever. Funny thing is, when he got there, like through the tear gas or whatever, and clearing the space, he held the Bible upside down, and it was just
kind of
really
embarrassing.
dumb. And it was just clear that he didn't care whatsoever about that photo op and the people. In my opinion, I think that was probably one of the best examples of how bad Donald Trump is racially.
So President Obama, you're absolutely right. He was talking about BLM, Black Lives Matter, and saying, and I think, when President Barack Obama comes and talks about Black Lives Matter, when you talk about things, there's things, how much standing do you have? How much does what you say matter on this topic? If you're the first black American president, you got a lot of standing on this issue. Like when you and I talk about BLM, it doesn't matter as much as when somebody who has really struggled to make sure that their lives matter because they are black, right? And he did. He had to overcome a lot of really major problems, right? So the one thing that I thought was brilliant, and I have voted for Obama twice. He is my absolute favorite president. He's an American genius. He's an American treasure. I thought it was really fascinating the way he talked about, he said, Black Lives Matter. And then this was fascinating, okay? So a lot of people have, Black Lives Matter is so important. It's one of the most important phrases that has come out, certainly this year, maybe in the decade.
Definitely.
Well, certainly in this new decade, but maybe in 10 years, right? And what I thought was really fascinating is people have tried to rephrase that, and I think they're like all lives matter. Now, if you're around me and you say all lives matter, all you're saying is, hey, I want to slap this sticker on my head that makes sure that you know that if I had lived in the Civil War, I would have fought for the Confederacy, right? To me, if you ever use the term all lives matter, you're slapping a gigantic jerk sticker right on your forehead.
So, in my opinion, with the all lives matter thing, yes, all lives do matter, but the thing with the Black Lives Matter thing is that white people aren't being unjustly treated by police. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about that only Black Lives Matter. We're saying that there is an unjust system, and that black people are not being treated equally as whites, which is basically always true, and it's a deep problem. So yes, all lives do technically matter, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about police brutality and things like that.
Well, also, you got to read the room, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a birthday party and you're like, and then you start telling a story about when you gutted a squirrel, and, there's a time to say things, and now is not the time. First of all, it's just a terrible time to say that, because I really feel you're just stating, I am a jerk. I would have voted for the Confederacy. Yeah. I don't really value all people's lives equally.
Yeah.
But this is important, okay? Obama knows he is trying to help Biden win, right? Obama's a genius because he said something that I think a lot of people missed. he said Black Lives Matter, and then he added to that. Now this is President Barack Obama, so you better listen up, because he's got some wisdom. He said, no more than any other. Black lives do not matter any more than anybody else's lives, and no less. I thought that was brilliant, because it was a signal saying, hey, we know that if maybe you're not black, or maybe you grew up, in an area where they have a lot of sympathy for the Confederacy, that you are frustrated with hearing this, right? So I want to clarify as the president that our lives do not matter more than yours. It's equal. That's all we're asking for. We don't want more than you. We want equal to you. And that was brilliant. And I think it's really subtle, but him adding no more and no less is a clarifying statement. And he can clarify because he was president. People listen to him. People trust him. And at the macro level. And I think that's really important.
I just want to clarify this again. Yes, like I said, all lives do matter, but they are all equal. And they should be.
Yeah.
Frankly, this has just been a problem since when the Constitution was written and when America was founded. Just injustice for black people has just been widespread. It's probably one of our biggest issues in American history, and I feel like this is the time to act on it. Yes, I do think all lives matter, but equally. And it seems that with all this police stuff, that people are treating black lives less than others, in my opinion. So we all have to realize that no, black people are not better than us, but they are as good as us.
Yeah.
We're equal. We're not better than any of us. We're all the same.
And also,
we're all people.
I think you're struggling to make yourself clear, to make sure that people understand that you are in support of BLM.
Yes,
right?
I definitely am.
I want to add something to that, right? Because you said, and you didn't even think about it, you just said, we, right? And I think the reason why you said that is you have shown I have watched you over the last few months, and you watched those protests so closely, and you have shared with me how frustrated you were that law enforcement in this country did not treat black people fairly, and how even a single instance of injustice really hurt your heart, that any black person would have to feel that, right? And also, you go to a private school. We live close to a city that sends. There are quite a few black students in your school. I have noticed over the years that you have actually grown up with other students in your class who are black, and you have created real, lasting, deep friendships with black students. And I could see the genuine pain that this BLM movement caused you.
And being around black people doesn't give me a non-racist free card. It really matters how you treat them in your mind. If you think of them as less than you, that is a problem.
Exactly.
Just period.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're near you. You need to think of them as equal, not lesser. Period.
But isn't that the importance of him talking about the Black Lives Movement in this way and saying, this is an important time. We need to remember this time. And this is the part where I do struggle, right? I plan to do a write-in for Andrew Yang. Mm-hmm. But I definitely understand what you're saying, because it is just so hurtful to see that we would possibly have a president that does not love all Americans equally. And I think that's very clear.
Very obvious.
Yeah, and honestly, we're discussing an extremely sensitive subject, and both of us are trying to make it clear that we definitely align ourselves with BLM, right?
Yeah.
That Black Lives Matter. We really believe that Black Lives Matter. Neither one of us believes in all lives matter. We believe in Black Lives Matter. And the reality, would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so we want to make that super clear. And honestly, I really applaud Obama getting in there and talking about this, because we really needed to think, have we been fair to the black people who are in our lives? Have we at all times done what we could to treat everyone with equality, right? And I didn't come back with, yes, the answer is yes. I came back with, especially when I listened to Barack Obama, you need to make sure you're doing it every day. Every day. And so I thought that was a victory moment within his speech. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that overall?
So, I'm just going to address the Trump thing. It's plainly obvious that he does not care for minorities, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
He's calling immigrants, so technically illegal immigrants, but in any shape, way, or form, you should never call a person an animal. That's the level of stuff as the Confederates, in my opinion. That is not okay. And the fact that our President of the United States said that is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't know how this guy made it into the presidency. If he's going to call people animals, even I don't care if they murder someone. You cannot call someone an animal, in my opinion. It's just demeaning.
No one. We have to respect everyone's humanity. Absolutely. Yeah. And you're 100% right. That's the biggest problem. It is the biggest. I guess it's a race for what is the biggest problem with Donald Trump. But the idea that he would steal people's humanity with his speech is repugnant. And we both are incredibly frustrated with, and that's one of the reasons why I refused to vote for him 4 years ago, and I have no intention of voting for him this year. Donald Trump, it's clear he does not care for all people equally, and that is a repugnant, terrible aspect in a current president. It is very frustrating. And we're glad that Obama called it out and called people to a higher grouping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think overall that's a good area to capture it. I think we were really struck by President Obama talking about BLM and saying, and I think he was really saying, if you want to help with the Black Lives with BLM, you vote for Biden.
Yeah.
I think he was making that a very clear statement. So I think he did an effective job of talking about it. Thank you for hearing us on this subject. We know it's incredibly sensitive. We're trying to navigate through it ourselves as best we can. If there's any part that we didn't understand or you think that we're not fully tracking, let us know in the comments below. Both of us, when we go into political discourse and where we're trying to figure out a better path through this life, we're always willing to hear somebody who has more wisdom than us. And so we really thank you for letting us share this with you. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.